Hello and welcome to our review slash discussion of Final Fantasy VII, which Jason turned on to me. Jason, when did you first play this game, hear about it, and whatnot? Because I only played it for the first time a little while ago. So Jason, take it away.
Game came out when I was probably like 3 years old or 2 years old or whatever, but played the game around like age 7 and 8. Never beat it when I was too young because it's pretty long and complex, but I did get around to beating it probably around the age of 10, and I've probably beaten it some, 4 or 5 times since then.
Nice. It was probably last year or the year before Jason told me about it, and he had bought it on PlayStation Network, and I played it, and I think for the first, hour, 2 hours or so of the game, I thought it was kind of slow and whatnot. I'm not a huge retro gaming kind of person, but once it gets going, it's very good.
Yeah. And as far as the review goes, we should probably start off with gameplay, how battles work. I thought gameplay was pretty good. A crucial thing you need to do is move how fast a battle goes as high up as it can go, or else that bar, your ATV bar, is gonna really take a long time before it gets up.
Yeah, Jason told me to do that. I think I put it up a little bit. I didn't put it up all the way though, because because if you play the game, it doesn't show all your options and attacks. You can't queue stuff up. So as soon as you your action bar fills up, you'll want to attack or do something as fast as possible. But I had obviously only played it once, so I'd be awkward getting used to the controls and wouldn't be fast with it. So I kept it at a medium pace. But the battles are good. I never felt completely overwhelmed. It's always pretty your levels, the way you fight the enemies. I wasn't severely under-leveled. There's attacks you get, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and another thing about the gameplay of this game, which makes it, I think, the next level, puts on the next level from the previous editions of Final Fantasy, is Materia. Materia was an addition to gameplay that made it totally different. Instead of spells you get by, maybe buying in the first couple Final Fantasies, to just certain people can learn it in Final Fantasy 4, to again buying in 5, and getting from Espers in 6. I thought Materia was a great addition to the game, letting anyone use magic. The Materia levels up at a good pace, so it's not overpowered, it's not too easy to use, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, Jason's more of a Final Fantasy in general expert than I am, but I found the Materia, I wasn't entirely sure how it worked at first, but it's you equip a weapon, you have a certain number of materia slots, and if they're connected, you can either just put 2 or you can link them to stuff. And I found that because it's just you can put fire on all, so you can attack. It's just much more diverse. It's not just cure on someone or fire 2 or fire aga, whatever, depending on which game.
Yeah. Another quick thing before we probably get off the gameplay aspect at this point was the way armor works. Armor's a little different. There's not really armor, if you can recall. It's just kind of...
What happens again? I don't even remember.
There's only 3 slots, correct? There's
there's
a vest type of thing, your weapon, and then an accessory.
Oh yeah. So
right?
How does... And yeah, your health goes up, right?
Yeah, and of course... No, your health goes up and down based on materia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so of course, what you have on affects your attributes and the amount of materia slots, which is going to be, it's going to impact on what equipment you want to use, because, the strongest weapon might not be, what's going to be the best materia.
I remember having a couple of times where I'd end up with, one weapon that has, 6 slots that are all single, and then, a one that only has 4 slots, but, has doubles so that you could, put Cure All on someone, so you'd have to have a weaker weapon in order to just have the right materia and stuff you want. So it's very well balanced. I assume they had to play with that for an extremely long time in order to make that all balanced and stuff.
Yeah, and probably off gameplay, we could talk about the story.
Yeah, the stories, it's all right. No, it's really good.
Yeah, the story in this game, especially for its time, is one of the first. It's one of the first stories that really show like betrayal, death of people you get close to within the game, and the story it'll never keep you. There's never a dull moment within this story, really.
Yeah, and like a lot of games today, like obviously like the largest game series probably at this time is like Call of Duty, which is obviously straying more into multiplayer than single player and story and stuff. Like but like so many single players don't like to take the like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the single player story, you play as multiple people, you die as the person you're playing as multiple times, and like the only characters that like you might like kind of get attached to is Captain Price, just because he's like the only one that's like around a lot, and like the character you play as, you never hear any dialogue from or really anything, and it's just however, a character that doesn't talk or anything also works in Bioshock. I don't think, Jason, you've played this.
Yeah, no,
but your character in Bioshock, there's no dialogue. Bioshock is like 99% gameplay. I can only think of like 2 times off the top of my head that there's like a cinematic. And even in some like scripted scenes, you're free to walk around and stuff. But like in Bioshock, like Final Fantasy, you're like, those are like some of the games that are good because like you want to keep playing to find out what happens.
Yeah.
And like when people die, you're like, it like in some when people die, either you're sad or you're like, oh shit, that person died, that's bad, or like, oh good, that person died, that person was evil.
And another thing that might tie into how a story turns out with cinematics is the cinematics in the game and the graphics. And while some people, nowadays might go, wow, this is really shitty, Cloud looks like Popeye. Like, the graphics for the time were, out of this world. One of the first 3D games, like the opening cinematics when Cloud jumps on a train and Ares is walking around with a fucking flower basket for no reason, trying to sell flowers for, again, no reason.
Yeah,
it's really impressive cinematic wise.
And like just the whole intro itself, like how many games, like I can't think of like how a game begins. Like a lot of times it's just like introducing like gameplay aspects when you start, but like Final Fantasy VII goes right into like, it sets the scene. It shows you like Midgar as this industrialized kind of dark place, and you just go right into it. The first thing that happens is you just get into a battle, and it never explains like press this, and obviously it's easy to figure out. You press a button to select and a button to go back. So it's very like even though I think the like first like hour or so of the game isn't as interesting. Like the first like 10 minutes when you infiltrate the place is good, and then like kind of slows down for a bit until like you get on like the world map and stuff. But it really jumps you right into it, and I think too many games try to like just explain the game, how to play it, and then that's just like like obviously you need to know how to play the game, but
like the game's not linear really in any aspect. Like the first 5 hours of the game, you're in one place, you got to do certain stuff, and it's linear and all that. But after that, like you play as the main character, Cloud Strife, and there's the whole backstory on him that you find out, but there's multiple things you can do that aren't too linear. Like there's 2 optional characters you can never, there's chances where you never even see them in the game if you don't do everything right. So then there's side quests like getting the chocobos and fighting Ruby and Emerald Weapon. And fun fact, that's not in the Japanese version of the game for unknown reasons.
Really? Alright, so overall, I think Final Fantasy VII is the greatest, like, single-player game in what it was trying to be, the most engaging game that I wanted to beat and play and the way it was designed, the gameplay, and everything. It was pretty much all I could ask for in a game. For its time, the graphics were good, and like now looking back, but like it's not about the graphics. Even with even with alright graphics, it still managed to like tell the story and just be interesting. And so overall, I'd say this game's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it like a 9.5 if you're willing to split points. Like a 9.5 out of 10. There's very few places the game could have improved. And graphics were great for the time. And yeah, with all that said, I would give it easily a 9.5, if not a 10 out of 10.
Alright.
So
this
this
is,
has been your first review/discussion by Leo and Jmac.
the duo Triforce.
Yeah, and we're peacing out.
Peace.
Have a good night.